Welcome to worship with the Universalist Unitarian Church of Peoria. My name is Reverend Jennifer Innis. It is my great joy to be the minister with this congregation of people of all ages, all stages of life. This is a beloved community striving to live into its mission of embracing freedom, loving wholeheartedly, growing in mind, body, and spirit, and adding to the wholeness and the healing of the world. We are welcoming of people of all ages, ethnicities, races, sexual orientation, gender identities, social and economic situations, and politics. We advocate for human rights. We strive to be good stewards of this one earth. So in living our mission, we recognize the network of relationships of which we are a part. For this is the ancestral home of the Peoria people. They and other nations were here long before the first European settlers came down the Illinois River. So we take a moment, as we've been asked to do during service, honor the Peoria people for who they were and for who they are today. And I also want to encourage folks to get to know who the Peoria people are in this moment. They are based in Northeast Oklahoma, and I follow them on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I encourage you to check them out as well. I want to thank folks for joining us in person and online. We recognize how powerful and precious it is to be able to gather with one another, even when we don't quite know what we're looking for, even when we're trying to get into but discover a new community. So thank you for joining us. If you are new, please check out the ushers. They have plenty of name tags. We love all the questions. And please stay for coffee and conversation after service. We'll be in Fellowship Hall, the patio. All are lovely this time of year. And also, if you're with us online, we have a chance for folks to chat on Zoom as well. I want to invite you to check all of your respective devices to see if they are in worship mode, generally speaking, buzzy or silent. We appreciate that very much. I have a few notes for today. One, after service today is our Fall Connection Fair. This is a great time. This is kind of laid out in display boards and folks in Fellowship Hall. This is a great time to hear about the major activities of the congregation groups. Please stay and kind of get to know how people can get involved. We have some of the core volunteers and some of the things that we can kind of check out and participate in, because all of the things that we do in all these little ways and big ways really helps make our congregation possible. In fact, it makes the congregation possible. So this Connection Fair is something I hope you'll check out. Thank you. Also, we have an additional note for this morning. Today is the International Day of Peace. There are folks all across the country are planning for a minute of silence at noon in honor of this day. If you've seen some of the social media notices, I know that you got some folks going to be down by the riverfront to do that. But we're going to take that moment here. Regina Stanley, Jesse Laughlin, and I agreed that we would like to have that moment as well. So at noon in Fellowship Hall, we'll mark the moment. Yes, we will interrupt the coffee and conversation, but it will only take a minute, literally. It's okay. So please be with us in that spirit as well. This afternoon, there is a social gathering for youth from the various congregations, faith communities that are part of the affirming faith communities of Greater Peoria. We recognize how children and youth and families benefit from getting to know one another when they're tied into different kinds of communities for their lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, interfaith, intersex, asexual, and affirming. So there will be tie-dyeing and cookie baking over at United Presbyterian Church on Northmore at 4 p.m. See Jesse or me for information. I know I expect to be there with my daughter. We also, coming up soon to the 20th anniversary of the dedication of this building. It was built for this church, designed by a member of this church, and the labor that went into making this possible, moving from the downtown building that was also beautiful and into creating this building here, was profound. And we want to celebrate and make it more visible in this time. So I invite folks to come join me after service next Sunday to talk about some of those stories, but also how we might celebrate that. I think we're aiming for October 12th for that celebration. And if you can't make next Sunday, please speak to me anytime. And now, for our last note, we have a word about our connection circles, because this is the time of year when we refresh those. I will invite Jeanette Gruber to join me.
Thank you, Reverend Jennifer. Thank you, everyone. Love wins in this church, right? And one of the ways that we can do that is by creating small groups that meet to talk to each other at specific times, twice a month. I know on the first and third Wednesday is one of the ones that I get to participate in. Most recently, we spoke we spoke about the nonviolent resistance programs by Martin Luther King Jr. And boy, are those more relevant than ever. I have to say, I hope that you can remember the last time someone listened to you when you spoke how you are, right? This is one of the first things we do. We check in with each other and listen to what's on our hearts in the beginning. Then we light a candle and share a topic. And an hour and a half later, we close and agree that we either had a great time or we'd like an improvement or we look forward to the next one. So it's a small circle. You get to know some more folks a little more deeply. Please see me anytime. Have a great morning, and let's enjoy the big circle here in the congregation.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. I want to invite folks to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. And I also want to thank, we have a new thing coming we have a little bit of hymn support, boosting singing. So thank you for the folks who are coming forward and joining me for singing a little bit. And anybody is welcome. When I call a meeting, you let me know and we will sing out. Let us sing. And I invite Dave Grebner for our opening words.
Love is the Center and Foundation by Reverend Sherry Woodbury. Again, we reground ourselves here in the highest values. Love is the center and foundation of this faith. Love is the power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, then, let us open our hearts to the healing power of liberating love. Because love is not only something we receive, but something we practice in community, let fall away all that might distract us from the wholehearted practice of love. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. As we continue to listen and learn, to act and grow, may each unfold in wholeness, both deeply loving and truly loved.
And I invite Penny Keister forward for our chalice lighting.
Chalice Lighting on Belonging by Reverend Karen LeBlanc. This isn't just a place of worship. This isn't just a fellowship of like minds. This isn't just a Sunday morning filled with the Spirit and topped off with cookies and cake. This is our church of congregation. This is where we build, oh my gosh, where we are building beloved community, where we are opening ourselves to each other, where we trust and love, rise and fall together. This is where we are safe. This is where we know we are welcome. This is where we belong. For this gift and so many others, we light our chalice.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding us. We rest in this love. During our music for meditation, all are welcome to come forward for a chance to light candles and make a small light that acknowledges what is with you and within you. And if you're online, I invite you to let these candles be for you as well. Let us now enter into our music for meditation. I want to begin with a sharing of joys and sorrows from the congregation. We have a joy from Friday evening, the keepers of the Great Grove holding their Mabon celebration in honor of the autumnal equinox with food and ritual to draw us into the moment. I think we benefit from some of the cookies that didn't get consumed, so be sure to check those out in Fellowship Hall. I want to thank Edward Flint and all those who joined in the river sweep cleanup yesterday in conjunction with the Peoria Park District. I think based on the photos I saw, I think the prize for the largest and most interesting item would go to Jesse and Becca Laughlin for finding a hot tub. Why? Why put the hot tub in the river? I don't know. There are photos. There's photographic evidence of this. And if you have photos from that day yesterday or names of who participated, we want to keep track. Please send them to the church office. We offer healing wishes to all those who are recovering from surgery or expect surgery soon. May the recovery and care go well. And we also offer our encouragement and support to those who are assisting with the recovery, whether it's family or friends or staff. And Mary Mulholland Kafar asked us to keep her particular surgery team in mind, for she has surgery tomorrow. In our larger world, we join with Unitarian Universalist congregations and a good portion of Disney subscribers, former Disney subscribers, as we continue to advocate for free speech and reduce and resist the efforts of the current administration's pressure on corporations to control humor and criticism. Amen. I offer a note from my colleague, the Reverend Beth Mulholland. It is a prayer for the wasteful. Spirit of life and love, holy ember that burns in our deepest, darkest places. Let us feel the warmth of our connections today in the face of our human tendencies towards cruelty and our constant turning toward isolation and disconnection. Let us practice being ferociously kind, unashamedly vulnerable, savagely soft. Let us love tenderly the parts of ourselves we reject and then project onto others. Let us remember we are all made of water and stardust, and that is all of us, hurt and healing. And that we can only do what it is in our hands to do. Let us embrace all the embodied contradictions and the ever unfolding now of this whole, holy burning world. Let us love with wide open, wanton indulgence each and every life we encounter, even when, especially when, it is hard. May it be so. I invite us to hold one more moment of quiet, for within us and among us there are so many names, milestones, joys, and sorrows. Our circle expands to hold all. And in this circle of care, we pause to breathe and be present to the one moment we know we have, the one moment that is right now. I invite you to breathe with me and pause. Amen. Salam, shalom, and blessed be. And I invite Jesse forward for the story.
Our worship topic today is the big heart of Superman and a little punk rock. So, when we say Superman, do you have an image in your mind? Is there a cape? Is it a person? I have a particular Superman I see in my mind, maybe because of when I grew up. And my story today is about a different kind of superhero. This superhero is an actor who played Superman. It was a hot, muggy morning, and Christopher was not sure he really wanted to be out riding in a competition. His thoroughbred horse, Eastern Express, seemed a bit off. Maybe Eastern Express would rather be in a field grazing rather than doing the demanding work of running and jumping with a big, muscular man on his back. Christopher had thought that same thing. But he was something that some of us thought of as a superhero. He was the actor who played Superman. You might tell from this picture it was a while ago. He had been strong and striving towards a goal his whole life, always learning new skills. And then, in an instant, everything changed. Eastern Express balked at the jump. Christopher's hands got tangled in the bridle, and Christopher crashed to the ground. When he woke up in the hospital, Christopher couldn't move his arms, his legs, or even breathe on his own. Doctors could repair what was broken, but not repair his spinal cord. His brain was no longer able to connect to his body. Despair washed over Christopher. He couldn't do anything. Maybe, he said to his wife, Dana, we should let me go. And Dana said, no, you're still you, and I love you. Of course, Christopher Reeve had never been able to actually jump a tall building in a single bound. But he had done some pretty amazing things. And now, the amazing things he had to do were to keep going. It took all of his strength and determination to sit in a wheelchair and to use his mouth to steer it. Over time, Christopher came to realize he had so much still. His family, his fame. He was pretty wealthy from his career. So he decided to use that for good. He raised money for scientists to research spinal cord injuries. They started a foundation to help people who couldn't afford wheelchair ramps in their homes. And he started speaking in public. It wasn't easy. People had to be patient and listen. But he used his stories to make a change in this world. You might have even seen him light the torch at the Olympics. That's what this picture's from. A writer for Reader's Digest magazine interviewed Christopher Reeve near the end of his life in 2004. And he was asked, why did you become a Unitarian Universalist? Did you know he was a Unitarian Universalist? And he replied, it gives me a moral compass. I often refer to Abe Lincoln, who said, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that is my religion. I think we all have that little voice inside of us, that voice that guides us. Maybe it's the mystery. Maybe it's the spirit of maybe it's God. But I think if we shut out all the noise and the clutter from the world and listen to that little voice, it will tell us what is the right thing to do. Christopher Reeve showed us what a real-life hero is. It is a person who listens to that voice and acts when the voice tells them the right thing to do. I wonder if you take some time to listen to that voice. I wonder what you hear when you take that time. I'm going to gather up some of our chalice light and take it back with me. And the children, youth, and volunteers are invited to join me for religious education.
I'm going to add, for all that we have beautiful music today, now I have John Williams on my brain. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, little Superman. Okay. And we offer a moment in our service. We have a time set aside on Sunday morning, and we set aside a time within that time to recognize all that goes into the making possible of our ministries, the making possible of our chance to gather together, of being with one another, of having candles to light, of having cookies and coffee after the service. We recognize all the gifts that make this moment and this congregation possible. And we do so in part by honoring the act of giving in our time of offering. But we also take a bit of what we receive, of all that we receive, and send that back out into the world, and specifically through our Share the Plate practice. We take half of the undesignated offering and give it once a month. Every month, you have a designated recipient and send that to do good work in our local community. And for this month, it is the 100 Black men of Central Illinois. And they are doing really important work for economics, health and wellness, post-high school scholarships for our young people. They have a wonderful mentor program as well. And I think if you're not new to Peoria, I'm just going to say, we know how much the need is in this community, and we can do just a little part to make that bit easier. So for our Share the Plate, is half the undesignated collection goes to our named agency, so 100 Black Men of Central Illinois. Please use the envelopes to indicate your donation, indicate its use. Use the QR code in the order of service. And thank you very much for all the gifts, all the service, all the care, all of the donations that make our life and this congregation possible. And I invite the ushers to please come forward. So for our service today, I am bringing in elements of Superman, punk rock, and universalism, as inspired by the new Superman movie. Now, punk rock is a great way to express big feelings of anger, fear, passion, compassion. So I invite us to get into that spirit a bit. We have a Unitarian Universalist source for today with the song, "The World's on Fire and We Still Fall in Love." This video is from the group Parker Woodland. They are based in Austin, Texas. The lead singer is Aaron Walter, Executive Director of the Texas UU Justice Ministry. You can imagine how much work she has to do deep in the heart of Texas. So I want to thank Reverend Aaron and her co-creators, Dan McMonagle and Ralph Cutler. They wrote this song, produced it. They are the band Parker Woodland. And the video for this was shot during a band and family gathering that they recorded shortly before the pandemic separated all of us in 2020. And I hope you had the lyrics. We added them as an insert in the order of service. And so please enjoy, and if you want to get up and boogie a little, I wouldn't say no. The world's on fire and we still fall in love.
It's a hard time to look for hope when the truth can't feel like a joke or worse. They tell you it's your fault if you trust. But there's one thing I know, it's this: opposites do coexist, and the last thing they'll ever kill is love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we're not giving up. No, I could let you go. Say it's not worth it. Oh, I could give up before we know. And what's the use in having hope? And even though everything's wrong and it shows, I still look at you and I know one thing could be perfect. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we're not giving up. No. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we're not giving up. No. I don't wanna be naive, but I catch myself wanting to believe, and I think I could take a risk this time. It's a hard time to look for hope when the truth can feel like a joke or worse. They tell you it's your fault if you try. World's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we're not giving up. No. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love. The world's on fire and we'll still fall in love.
It was a joy to be able to ask Erin for permission to share that today, and she said, just yes. So let me begin with Superman. I'm not going to say much about his origin. The new Superman movie is not an origin story. And I remember Brad Kefauver went into depth in what led up to the first appearance of Superman in 1938 during his message during the summer services in July this year. So I recommend going to our YouTube channel and checking out our July 6th service. It is important to know the basics, that Superman became the model for superheroes. Here was this child from a dying world, Krypton, sent to Earth by his parents, and humble, brave Kansas farmers adopted him and raised him as Clark Kent. He has phenomenal powers, including flight and strength. He is impervious to harm. He has speed and much more. Now, superheroes have been growing in our secular narrative, especially since Christopher Reeve donned the tights and the cape and the big red S in the first Superman movie in 1978. These extraordinary beings, these meta-humans, and their struggles and triumphs have emerged as great myths and touchstones in our culture. And so here we are, mere humans, contemplating the existence of gods and monsters and everything in between, not just in the comic books, sometimes are they? The current Superman, directed by James Gunn and starring David Corenswet, brings us back to the humanism and the care that motivated Superman from the beginning. Now, I can't show a clip, but I can offer a bit of dialogue, and I invite Tony Huerta to come join me illustrating this. Now, Superman, or Clark Kent for the everyday, glides through the window of his apartment. He is weary, with a heavy, confused heart. And Lex Luthor, his sworn enemy, has just shared a video message from Clark's Kryptonian parents. What Clark had always heard from the fragment that was available was a message of encouragement to serve the people of Earth. And that message, revealed more in full, was one of an instruction to conquer, to dominate, to enslave the entire planet. Clark is shattered by questions around his purpose and how to proceed. And Lois Lane, fierce reporter and Clark's girlfriend, is waiting for him with a cup of cocoa. Oh, that's the best cup, right? And they talk about the message and how she and Clark do kind of butt heads, but also how she's a punk rock kid.
Me too. We're bound to, though. We're so different. I'm just some punk rock kid from Bakerline, and you're Superman.
I'm punk rock.
You are not punk rock.
I'm punk rock. I like the Strangled-Fellows and the PODs and the Mighty Mighty Crabjoys.
Oh, those are pop bands. They're not punk rock. The Mighty Crabjoys suck.
Well, a lot of people love them.
My point is, I question everything and everyone. You trust everyone and think that everyone that you've ever met is, like, beautiful.
Maybe that's the real punk rock. Thank you, Tony. As Lois says, my point is I question everything and everyone. You trust everyone and think everyone you've ever met is like beautiful. And maybe that's the real punk rock. In this time when we have so many questions and so many shattering moments of our own, wondering about our foundations and our futures and even the next hour for ourselves, for our children, for our neighbors. Maybe we need a little punk rock. Now, I don't have a cape, but I can give a visual. If you're not familiar with punk rock or only have one image in mind, let me give a visual. I got to change jackets. I had to go into my closet for this one. This is kind of fun. Yeah, that would be mine. This one's mine. That I didn't do. I got like 3 over here. I didn't have like a nose ring. And even my grandmother brought this for me. I don't think she knew what she was buying, but she did. So I wore this through college and divinity school until it was simply too warm for my first ministry in Alabama. I mean, you can imagine. This was a really good winter coat. For many folks, the first image of punk rock might include that of a tough, angry, violent youth with a leather jacket and black combat boots and shaved, spiked, colored hair and a sneer. Punk is indeed loud, often anarchical, anti-authoritarian. It is rage against the machine. It is ripped clothes, in your face, mocking the conforming human sheep. It is defiant and wanting a fight. What's also true is how punk respects individuality, critical thought, not accepting what they have been told is true without examination, making sure that everyone is okay and safe in the dance pit, even as they slam into one another. Punk is consent, agency, liberation, as well as compassion, showing up as fully human and not succumbing to the pressure to be who, succumbing to the pressure of being less than who we can be. Punk will scream into the microphone in one moment and help a child find their adult in the next. Punk is living out what matters most and having a way to express the frustration of striving to do so. And kindness is punk, as is love and compassion and Superman. In 2025, here is this Superman, the comic book character brought to life in full color with humor and warmth and a commitment to saving people, every person, every creature, to the best of his amazing ability. He is called to serve and to save. This is what he took from the fragment of message from his biological parents, and he absorbed it into his bones from the Kansas farmers who raised him. He is a radical firefighter. Life is precious, and we are called to put care into action. And I will say, I needed this Superman, and I think we needed it too. Not merely because I'm a fan of Superman since Christopher Reeve, but also because we need a narrative that is powerful enough to remind us of our own choices and our own worth and the worth of love. When so much is undermining our humanity and dismantling our society and faith in ourselves and being part of the wonder around us. The stakes are so high. The stakes are so high, so horrible. I'm going to jump into the Star Wars universe for a moment because this quote from the show Andor that showed up this week simply took my breath away in how it conveyed the stakes and the struggle. Andor just won an Emmy for its writing, and the show illustrates the weight and the terrible choices people make as they resist the empire that wants to consume them and all they love and even life itself. So from Andor, the pace of our oppression outstrips our ability to understand it. And that is the real trick of the imperial thought machine. It's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than a single incident. The pace of our oppression outstrips our ability to understand it. And that is the real trick of the imperial thought machine. It's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than a single incident. The pace of oppression, the pace of fascism, the pace of authoritarianism. Even given the fumbles, the self-inflicted errors from hubris and arrogance, the incompetence of staff and certain elected officials, the pace of the current administration in enacting its agenda is phenomenal. It is overwhelming and intentionally so, removing the bounds that made policy, law, information, and behavior more visible and able to be checked and questioned. It is impacting generations to come. It is increasingly cruel. It is institutionalizing hopelessness whenever possible. The pace of our oppression outstrips our ability to understand it. It is wrecking an economy that was growing, forcing cuts to billions of dollars that was already approved, that went for health and race and gender care and more, and feeding one another. It is continuing to pursue and harm marginalized populations, every marginalized population. It is narrowing down who has rights, who is even seen as human. And as we have seen in the news this week with the cancellation of a late night comedian, the administration is trying once again to be a mob boss and silence the mildest of critics, trying to scare people and corporations into obedience. The pace and the volume. And so then here is this story of a man committed to helping everyone, who does not discriminate, who is himself an immigrant, and we'll talk about it at the drop of a hat, and who sees beauty here in a way that matches and hopefully overcomes the volume of harm. But also, Superman doesn't work alone. Lois investigates and makes connections to reveal Lex Luthor's treachery to the world. Other heroes defend people because Superman or Clark Kent can't be everywhere at once. And then when Clark loses faith, the man who raised him reminds him what Clark wanted to say in the message is much more important than what was intended. Superpowers are everywhere, and punk is global. And here in Unitarian Universalism, we have our own access to something that is more powerful than empires and authoritarians. We have a big heart. And that is in our own theology and values. It is in humanism, it is in universalism. And that inspiring, optimistic superhero movie is great. Oh my gosh, 2 hours of hanging out with that is fantastic. And we need to take it from there. And we have had, in this tradition, we've had this gift for a long time. Classic universalism from the 1800s says that God is loving, not punishing. We do not need to be afraid of eternal suffering after we die because we were these imperfect human beings in life. We don't get a penalty because we screwed up. We are within a beautiful creation, even as we make our own choices about how we treat one another and the world. And I will add that even 200 years ago, our forebears were a bit radical. Hosea Ballou in 1805 even said that people didn't need to hear about Jesus to be included in God's love. They didn't need to hear about Jesus to be included. He completely upended the core teaching of religion at that time. How punk is that? In our time, we are guided by love, which can seem a little squishy. It is also deep, immovable, is always there when we need a place to return. That world's on fire and we still fall in love, right? It isn't flashy like a red cape. It isn't dramatic like punching out a monster. It's watching out for each other. It's believing in each other. Partially why I love that video from Parker Woodland is that it is simply people gathering together and making sure they are fed and having fun. Did you see that pile of pizza boxes that came in? I mean, that is love. Unitarian Universalism may have many of the traditional trappings of Protestant religion: hymnals, pews, pulpit, stained glass. And what we believe and fight for in the name of agency, compassion, justice, and human rights in service to the mystery of life, that is powerful. That is what shows us who we are and how we are living into hope. It might be a leather jacket and rock and roll. It might be tie-dye. It might be welcoming the stranger. It might be listening to one another today so that we are better prepared to counter the next blow. It might be reflecting on our own biases and judgments that prevent us from being as kind as we say we want to be. And it might be celebrating every win as a reminder of a larger purpose and a larger power. And we are not alone, even when resistance feels futile and the pace of oppression drowns us. We are not at the end of the story. We persist in naming, claiming, loving, in singing, in dancing, and drumming. We persist in declaring possibilities because revelation is not fixed. It remains open even when we feel closed. It is in choosing to act for one another and for ourselves. It is to question everything and still know that everything is beautiful. It is Lois and Clark all the time. We are part of that vast mystery revealed in our everyday lives. Whether we have a cape or a leather jacket or just come as we are. This is our big heart we get to live into and bring into being in every moment, in every day. Let us take up that charge, not leave it for the superheroes. Let us take up that charge and be the fantastic, flawed, powerful humans that we are always able to be. Amen. I invite us to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1021, Lean on Me.
Good morning, friends. The final words this morning, Move Through the World in Love, is by Reverend Maggie Lovins. And what a final word, last name to have with her words and her living experiences, Lovins. We extinguish this flame, but not its meaning and mission in our hearts. Our time together has come to an end. Go in peace. Be of service to one another, and you may move through the world in love for all of your days.
As we leave this sacred hour, may the welcome we receive become the welcome we extend. Let us meet the world with open hearts, open hands, and the audacity to build spaces where every soul feels welcome. Our worship is ended. Let our service begin.